You're just moments away from a brand new episode of WTF Nations Radio's Pop Culture Warrior, hosted by the dynamic duo CQ and Radar. Pop Culture Warrior is your number one source for all things entertainment. If it's happening in TV, movies, video games, or comedy, they're all over it. And don't forget to say hi in the comments below. And while you're at it, let the boys know what you think and what you'd like to hear them talk about. Now strap in and get comfortable, because you're in for one hell of a ride. This is Pop Culture Warrior. Shots.
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Welcome, one and all. Today is January 11th, 2022, and this is episode 85 of Pop Culture Warrior, the first episode of 2022. It's the show where I stay up to date on all the ins and outs of what's happening in pop culture so you don't have to. I'm CQ. I'm the Pop Culture Warrior, and with me is this fine stud right here, the best understudy I could possibly afford, the man in the bubble, the voice of the unpop cultured. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Radar. How are you, sir?
What's up, buddy?
Oh man, you're looking fine. You're looking fine.
My camera is ridiculously clear tonight compared to what it normally is.
Oh yes. I
love it.
Surprise, surprise, man. You guys might not notice that much of a difference, but we're playing with some things. So hopefully you guys are hearing us. Can a thumbs up, some 5x5s, G to G, let us know that you hear us okay, that we sound good. We got some new mics, we got some new setups, got some new cameras, some new softwares. We're playing.
You say we. You keep saying we. You got a turd in your pocket or something? Because I got the same old cans, the same old mic, the same old camera. It's just the technology, the interface that I'm using.
Sure.
Actually, you're using
on your end
allows you to now.
On your end, things are much less different. On my end, things are very good. And we got Heath and Leopold both giving thumbs up. Sound good. Jen says sound is gravy and biscuits. God damn. I like it. You're making me hungry. Sounding great. Real crisp. I like it.
Good.
See, and now I can do things like this. I can whisper right to the audience. Get super creepy. Just get real. I'm inside you. Oh, the call's coming from inside the house.
I love it.
Couldn't do that with the old mic, couldn't do the whisper. But we're having some fun, guys. We're having some fun. Appreciate everyone for coming out to check out the first Pop Culture Warrior of 2022. This is episode 85. We've been doing this for a minute. Radar, you're getting a lot of props in the chats.
I am getting some love.
Getting a lot of love. What's up, y'all? Come on. Where's CQ's love at? Why is everybody giving Radar love?
What's up, Radar? What's up, David Chamberlain? What's going on, man? Everyone loves it. Everyone loves me. and my WandaVision shirt.
Yes. Move the mic for a second so people can really absorb and enjoy. Look at that beautiful, beautiful WandaVision shirt. That is a man deserving of co-hosting a pop culture show. That is what that is right there. So real quick, gotta say hi to everybody that's out there. Jim, all of the taint is out now. Yep, all of it, the whole shebang-a-bang. Jonathan, hey man, Jen, you're awesome. David, Captain Wayne, the Baconator is in the audience. What's up? Jay, who else is out there? Christopher, hey man, what's going on, bud? Clay, hello from Fort Hood. Fort Hood, God bless, man. Stay safe out there. Who else is there? I got this.
Shipwreck checking us out. He's helping us out, man.
So many of you guys joining us tonight. God bless you, man. Taki von Vanderson. Oof, God bless, man. That is a name right there. I'm envious. Heath, back like scoliosis. That's right. We're back like scoliosis. That is exactly it, sir. What else we got here? Sorry, I'm looking at multiple screens now.
I know this is getting.
We're getting fancy with it.
I do, and I need to figure this out because like it used to be really small on my screen, and I'd have you right on my little camera, so I could be like, "Hi." Now you've taken up a lot of real estate on my screen.
Taking all the real estate. That's the plan. That was the plan all along. We got Charles. Hey, Charles, man, what's up, bud? This is B3F podcast. What's up, dude? That's Joey out there. It's a good buddy of mine, man. You gotta, if you're into podcast, you got to check out B3F, which is I think is like Best Friends Forever, right? B3F, Best Friends. Wait, why am I messing that up?
Yeah, I don't know. Ask them. That's not my podcast.
B3F. There's 3. I think there's
I'm on my podcast.
Oh,
right
best fucking friends forever, something like that is the B3F
Anyway.
podcast. But yeah, great guys. I've been on the show a couple times and awesome dudes. Leopold checking us out on YouTube. Yes, we are live on YouTube. We're live on Twitch. We're live on Twitter. We're live on Facebook. We're live on somewhere else and other places and Facebook and all the things where most of you guys are checking us out. Josh Allen, hi from the center of the universe. What's up, man? Oh man, I missed you guys. I missed you, Greg, you sir.
Ooh, a split screen. I don't know, man. I like my little bubble.
Hey, did you see? Hey, Floridian's in the house. What's up, bud?
What's up, man?
Another streamer out there who's absolutely outstanding, awesome dude. I like Greg's comment though. Did you see the one? He says, "I don't know if a clearer camera for radar is the right move."
No, it's probably not.
It's not the way.
You know what? I used to say this all the time. My wife would be like, I can't find my glasses. I'm like, good. I look way better when you don't have your glasses on.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes, definitely the was it the old I got a voice for radio or some shit like that? The face for radio.
Yeah, I got the face for radio.
There
Absolutely.
It is. There it is.
Actually, you know what though? In all fairness, I needed to give a shout out to my wife because she thought of this for me. This is my Christmas present. One of many.
Shout out.
Yeah, Mrs. Radar fucking nailed it. She's awesome and fucking took care of it.
Jim, you crazy. I see your comment. You crazy, dude.
Beer goggles. Yeah, Jen. Beer goggles.
Elizabeth McGinnis. Good evening to you. I apologize, guys. I'm trying really hard not to cough right into the microphone. I got a bit of a cough on the mend. We didn't have a show last week. I was under the weather. I was taking care of family. Everybody, my household was like a petri dish. It was just there was just spore mold everywhere. It was just everybody was sick. I had a whole clan of sick people in my house, and so yeah, it was not great.
Everyone got down with the sickness.
Everyone's down with the sickness. Yeah. You guys are awesome.
You see Noah's comment? He's loving the hoodie and he's wondering where he can get one.
Oh, the hoodie, man. Oh man, that's very nice of you guys. I think it scrolls at the bottom at one point, but it's like stream elements. I gotta one of these days I'm gonna put a thing. I'll put it in the chat at some point. But it's like stream elements something. Here's the thing. For reals, I don't like the merch shop that I have right now. I'm gonna be switching it soon. It's been on my to-do list forever. So I'll be switching it very soon to another platform. But for now, it does have hats, or not. I'm sorry, not hats. Shirts, hoodies, mouse pad. Like you can get one of these awesome handy dandy, which I've spilled coffee on. Mouse pads with Pop Culture Warrior. And there's a blanket. It has a blanket. I have the blanket somewhere around here. But yeah. Anyway, 420, not COVID. Michelle, I feel like that's the best part of the holidays, becoming a science experiment for germs. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's true. That's true. So once again, thank you guys, everybody, for coming out. Missed you guys. Wasn't sure if we were gonna get here, but we did it. We got here.
We did, and I feel like we left so abruptly.
We did, because the year ended. We didn't really have much of a say in it.
It does that. But I mean, it just felt like, I don't know, like we were on the move and we were talking about all kinds of cool shit. We were doing this, and I actually went to Spider-Man the opening weekend and watched it in the theater and all the things, right? We did all the things. And then we're like, bye, see ya.
Bye.
Fuck y'all, I'm out.
and I really intended to only take a short break because we did, really the last December Tuesday as possible, right before, we were a couple days before Christmas. Then we skipped the next week. I was supposed to come back January 4th, a week ago, just sick as a dog and taking care of a bunch of sick people. So couldn't do it. Had to cancel the guest, which that bothers me the most is when I schedule a guest, we make plans, we do the whole hoopla, and then I got to be like, I'm so sorry. We need to reschedule. But he was awesome. He's already rescheduled. He'll be back in a couple weeks. He's going to be on the show.
Good.
Awesome. That's dude. Awesome, dude. It's going to be great. For tonight. Oh, I'm so excited for tonight's guest. Do you remember the show Everybody Hates Chris?
Yes.
Great show. Hilarious show. It's in syndication, I think, still to this day, like 16 years later.
You know why I love it?
Why do you love it?
My little brother's name is Chris.
So it speaks to you. It speaks to you.
Yeah. I felt it at a whole nother level.
So tonight we have Imani Hakim, who played the character of Tonya, Chris's younger sister. She was 11 when that show first hit airs, or when she first got cast. Did it for 4 years and has been acting ever since. She's an incredibly accomplished woman. We'll be having her on the show later tonight. Fingers crossed if our new systems work.
Yay.
Because if they don't, we might have to fill some dead air. But no,
hey, it's fine. Whatever. If we have to, you know what? I keep looking at this, and I know we send these podcasts off to the guests, so I try not to curse too much. But we are the internet; we can curse, so I can say things like shit, right?
Sure.
Well, now Facebook has these things on the bottom. I don't know if you can see them or not.
The closed captioning.
The closed captioning, and every time I say something like "fuck," it
bleeps it out.
Has
censors
love it.
Yep, censors it.
Thanks, Facebook. Yeah.
Facebook doing a great job censoring the world. Don't say nothing bad about them. We'll get pulled off the air.
Whatever.
Michelle said, "Yeah, you're right, Michelle. She played Gabby. Was it Gabby Douglas in the Gabby Douglas story about her life, the Olympic gold medalist. So that's something we will be talking about tonight. So, and we'll discuss with her. Very excited. But yeah, man, real quick, since this is our first show back after the holidays.
Yes.
What'd you get for Christmas, man? Tell us some dope shit you got.
I got one of the coolest presents in the world, and my son got to come back for 2 weeks. I got to spend 2 weeks with my son, and so that was one of the coolest presents. Another one, when COVID first started and we all were kind of going crazy and whatnot, I have a daughter who lives with her mom, and with everything first starting, we weren't sure, everyone's on lockdown, right?
Yeah.
Not getting visitation kind of deal, right? So this is the first time in over 2 years that we actually had all 8 kids in the same house. And so we went to place in Deadwood. They do like the old timey photos where you get dressed up and you've got like the little pistoleras and shit, right?
Black and
we
white.
Went and did that.
Sepia.
Yep.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, we did that, and we did the Old West photos. We did some photos in the house and stuff, and we just got to spend a bunch of time together. And you're a dad. I'm a dad. You know how it works. Like we never get the really cool gifts. All the kids get the cool stuff. You know what I mean?
Speak for yourself. I make sure I cultivate a list. I make sure daddy's taken care of. If in case you haven't noticed,
I buy shit all the time, dude.
Yeah, that's
you know what
true.
I mean? Like
that's true.
When I see something, okay, if I wanted that shield you have behind you, right? Yeah. People can't see it because I'm in front of it.
Yeah.
Right. But you have a Captain America shield on your wall. Right. If I wanted that, I would just pull out my freaking card and I go get it. I don't gotta wait for Christmas. I'd be like, oh, that's tight.
If I want some, I get some.
Yep, exactly. So I don't play that game. And so when it comes time for presents, you know what I mean? I go and I buy everyone all their stuff and everything like that. But it's a good time. It's a good time.
Guys, if you're out there, throw it in the chats. I'd love to hear what was one of your favorite, the favorite thing you got for the holidays? What was that gift, whether you got it yourself or someone else got it, surprise or planned? What was your favorite gift of the holidays? So like I had lights in the background before, but they were the hexagon shapes. So now if you look in the background, there's some triangles up in there. So I got some triangles. I threw in some triangles. And then I got this handy dandy brand new sexy microphone. So
that's pretty sexy.
Yeah, right. Is it? Somebody had said, who was it? I think it was Jen that said they're playing us over their Bose and that we sound incredible. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry if you're playing me over like some real big speaker system. I apologize.
Greg Russell got some. He got some new pew-pews.
Oh yeah. Yep.
That's fun. That's always fun. I have a problem. I was going to get a new pew-pew, and I'm afraid to feed it. Pew-pew food is getting kind of expensive and hard to find.
Yeah, those things are hard to maintain. I'm going to
circle back. 10-star. No, David Chamberlain, I didn't get to wear the 10-star. I wore like a general's outfit. It's actually pretty cool.
I gotta circle back to Brian Smith's comment. He said you you should do Cloth Hub. I'm guessing that might be like a distributor of clothing or something. I'll circle back on that one. I gotta make sure I capture that. But who else? I like Corey's comment. CQ is like, I get cool gifts. Yes, the same as the kids. Yeah, man. Shit. Why not? Why not? I made sure my kid was taken care of. He got some sick gifts this year. I mean, ridiculous. We all been pent up for so long that I wanted to get him something badass that he would love playing with and keep him busy. So so he got some really good stuff. And then Charles says he carries a 410 pew pew, a size 410. So
yeah,
good for you, man. That's awesome. Easy to feed.
It is easy. Those are easy to feed because you can put 45 long cold in them too. I mean, yeah, that stuff.
Very nice. Very nice. I got Alpul Karim. You guys are awesome. Can I get a shout out? What's up, man? Shout out. Kareem? If you're new here, I'm terrible with names. If it ain't like a Ben or a Frank, I'm terrible with names. So
yeah. He messes up radar from time to time. So don't feel bad
shout
about
out to you. Yeah, Reedy. Son got me nothing. He bought himself. Wow. Michelle says, son got me nothing, but bought himself 3 lightsabers. Ooh.
Ooh. Yeah.
I want lightsabers. Will he buy me one? Gary
he says spent $500 on fireworks. Nice. That's a good idea.
I never thought of that. So my wife is from El Salvador, and a big part of Christmas over there is like lighting of the fireworks. Like they go as hard as like we do 4th of July. Like that's Christmas for them. It's insane. I visited her home once, true story, and we went nuts with fireworks. And because they were cheap, I bought a shit ton of them. And at one point we had this like Rambo looking, when Rambo has like the big what's it like not I was gonna say bayonet, the band, not the bandana, bandolier, like he has the long bandolier full of so it's like that but fireworks. And so like I was running around wearing it like a goddamn silly boy. And at one point we lit it, didn't realize like something caught fire. And so like the corner street of where like her house was caught fire. So me and all our family are like running up and down the street with like pails of water, just like throwing pails of water, running up and down. It was crazy. It was insane. It was insane.
Oh,
great memory.
That's awesome. I love it. Actually,
burnt down her neighborhood. That was good times. Good times.
We didn't do anything fun like that. We you know what, we used to do that for New Year's here. New Year's we used to do a lot of fireworks.
Sure.
And it's really cool up here because we have a snow on the ground, and so it's really nice to throw the fireworks off, and then you get all the reflections off the snow and stuff.
Right.
What? Gary Branscombe got a new road glide? Tight, dude.
Road glide.
That's awesome.
Elizabeth got an Oculus 2. I'm so jealous. So I have an Oculus 1 right there. I got the Oculus Quest, and I have no reason to upgrade to the 2 other than I really, really want to. that is, I want to so bad. I really want to. Hey Ruben, man, what's up, buddy? Who else gave us a? Yes, the beard is coming. You want to see something crazy? The beard. Hold on. If I do, we're going and then I don't know. You can see because I'm wearing the black hoodie. Yeah, I like fold it down. So it cuts it in half. But yeah, it's actually like it's getting really, really long.
Well, we all talked about me getting a new job, right? A couple weeks ago, couple months ago. And so I had to do like an actual picture today. So that's like I did not look this well kept yesterday morning. They were like, "Hey, you got your official photo and stuff," and I was like, "Ah, shit."
Yeah.
I had a pretty good one going.
Damn. So he says he had 2 vehicles damaged by falling bullets on New Year's. Oh, that sucks.
Oh, that sucks.
Never want to see that. But no, you guys are awesome, man. Thank you for coming out. So what else? Man, I feel like so much has happened between our last episode and now.
Well, I mean, because we had all the stuff that like everybody knows about, right?
Sure.
Well, like the Betty White died, and now all the memes and jokes and stuff, and that sucks.
Bob Saget. So yeah, America's grandma followed by America's dad passed away. So
that was kind of a sad end.
Not great for the family, the core family.
No, dude, we're dropping off.
Yeah. So it wasn't a great start.
Let's see what else. What else happened?
Well,
anything
I was
else
gonna say, I was gonna say that obviously Spider-Man.
Yes.
We talked it to death. We spent I think a whole episode talking everything about it. Loves, hates, everything crazy. The one thing I will say is that like big ups to them. They're now Sony's highest grossing movie of all time.
Yes.
So Sony Pictures, who, even though it's a Marvel Studios / Sony Pictures collab, they're the ones that are going to get the credit in the books for the box office, even though they're splitting it with Marvel. Well, like it's like 70-30, I think, something like that. But still, is going to be Sony's highest rate, or not even highest rate, highest grossing total of all time. And I think it moved into like the 3rd spot of all time box office.
Yeah,
I want to say
it beat out Titanic. I saw that this morning.
Yep. So
it surpassed Titanic.
I mean, that's huge. That's huge. Yeah. When you think just 10 years ago, when they were like, yeah, superhero movies aren't bankable,
yep,
they barely make their return.
But in all fairness, look at some of those superhero movies from 10, 12, 13 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I'm going to give big ups to Marvel for fixing that and getting these kind of going again. I'm pretty happy about that.
Kimberly, what do you think about Spider-Man No Way Home? Yeah, tune in like 2 episodes ago, and we did a whole rundown. I loved it. I did. Very quick synopsis. Yep. I did love it. It was great. Tiny little gripes about it. Little things that, from a story perspective, it could have been a little cleaner. And also, there are rumors that have come out about what could have been. There were some things that were supposed to be that got changed.
Well, I know one of them was Venom was supposed to be in the final battle.
Venom was supposed to be part of the last battle. The big one coming out right now, which they've shown, they do storyboards, right? Because they want to paint out how it's going to look and use it for reference. So there's storyboards that got released so in the next movie, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, you have America Chavez who's coming in, and her whole thing is that she kind of dimension hops through these little portals she makes. If you remember pre-COVID, when they mapped out the whole next phase, Doctor Strange was supposed to come out before Spider-Man. And so they were going to do the whole multiversal thing there, introduce America Chavez, and then she was going to be the reason that the Spider-Mans come back in the Spider-Man movie. So something to do with her and the multiverse was it all got changed, it all got reshuffled around and whatnot. But I think that would have been really cool to see. But it makes sense for why they had to change what they changed, and it worked out very well. The other thing, so here's the latest news that blows my mind. Or actually, I shouldn't say. Let me rephrase that. It makes sense when you understand why. Morbius was supposed to be our next big superhero, supervillain, whatever you want to call it, super-powered movie. Again, made by Sony Pictures and in that Spider-Man universe. It was supposed to be released January 28th. So should have been another 17 days from now. And it got delayed. It's been pushed all the way back to April 1st. Now,
wow.
Yeah, so a couple months.
So that's going to be after Doctor Strange then, right?
No, Doctor Strange is May. So just before.
I thought it was March.
Just before.
Okay, I thought it was March. So that's why I was...
I think at one point it was March, but then I got pushed back to May. Everybody's getting pushed back.
I think at one point it was December.
I mean,
got pushed back.
If we're going all the way back. So here's the thing that blows my mind. You ready for this? I'm about to blow your mind wide open.
Let's blow it. Yeah.
Morbius, the movie, we know has been done for a little while. We know that because first trailer was like a year and a half ago, and it was supposed to be out a long time ago. Then got pushed back to January, now to April. Spider-Man No Way Home, the movie that we love, the movie that shook up the nation, all this stuff, started filming after they released the first Morbius trailer. Yeah, it sounds wrong. It sounds wrong, but it
sounds wrong.
accurate. The Morbius trailer came out. I think it was like, let's say it was January, February of last year. 3 weeks later, Spider-Man No Way Home starts filming. They wrap filming. They edit the movie. They do the special effects. They do a very strange version of advertising marketing to lead up. They release the movie. The movie has now grossed the highest for Sony and third highest of all time. And we are still 2.5 months away from Morbius coming out. Like, that is insane to me. That is insane to me. How
that's very, that doesn't seem right at all.
Doesn't seem
Something
right.
seems so wrong about that.
That they could shoot, edit, release, and profit off of a movie between the release of a trailer and when the movie's gonna get out. Like, that blows my mind. And it's not just like, oh, we shot something in my garage and whatever. Like, one of the biggest movies of all time with the most amount of CGI and special effects and all that you could possibly have in a pandemic era. It's wild. It's wild to me. I legitimately, my brain can't fathom how that works out. But it makes sense in a way to push it back a little bit further because people are still hyped about Spider-Man. And between me, you, and you out there, I have a feeling Morbius isn't going to be great. I have a slight, like, I want it to be good. I want every superhero property to be prosperous because I think it helps the overall. But I have a feeling they wanted to distance themselves a little bit from how good Spider-Man was. You know what I mean? The hype of Spider-Man, how good it was. They're like, we need to let the expectation kind of cool off a bit.
Well, I've kind of been curious about this too. Like, Spider-Man was good. I was a fan. I like Spider-Man more than any other movies I've seen as of late.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, pre-pandemic, we had some really bangers coming out, right? Mm-hmm. And everyone can kind of agree that the pandemic has really kind of us on that. You know what I mean? So, do you think that it would have been as well received if we would not have had the pandemic? Because everyone's been kind of sitting there. We look at Black Widow, right? Mm-hmm. That was supposed to be released like right as it started,
right? March of 2019. Yeah,
you know what I mean. And so, the Spider-demic. So, I mean, we've been the anticipation factor. Like, we've been edging. Kind of. We've been like superhero edging for a while, waiting for this movie to come out.
Oh my God.
And then it finally got released onto us.
And it was just everywhere. And it was just
everywhere. And everyone loved it. I mean, we took a straight shot of that to the face, and then
it's just all of a sudden I think of a shirt that's like superhero edging, and I can't explain the graphic that I was thinking of that with, but yeah. I don't think anyone has ever uttered the phrase we've been superhero edging. Oh man.
But you see what I mean? Like, we've been waiting and waiting and waiting for this.
I get.
So do you think that gives us any sort of? We built that anticipation and we built it up and we built it up, and we did the same with Black Widow. I think everyone was like, Black Widow is so good. We've had all this time to refine it. It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't a giant pile of, but we also we were kind of mixed about it. Like I said, I didn't even watch it in the theater. I watched it at home.
The thing is, and I partly, I do agree that the pandemic fluctuated expectations because you're you're waiting so long, right? And it was like, I need something, but I don't necessarily. Jen, why are they bleeping out words? That's Radar just being silly. He's got a new toy and he's playing.
Yeah,
with
I
his
can
new
do
toy.
it on my own.
He's playing with his new toy.
I got this thing, and I can just be like, I got kicked in the and it just it beeps me. So
just playing with his new toy. Gary, are we all previous army? Yeah, me and Radar are. Yeah, we're previous army.
Yep.
I don't know what gave it away. So so yeah, but like part of me wants to say that there was expectation fluctuation. Say that 5 times fast. But you look at the reception of Black Widow, and then you look at the reception of Spider-Man. Or even Spider-Man's super hype. Let's Shang-Chi. I mean, there was there was hype for it, but there wasn't like Spider-Man level hype.
No, there was no Spider hype.
And it was very well received.
Okay, but I think that was the problem with Eternals. I think the problem with Shang-Chi, and I think the problem with Widow is, well, maybe not so much Widow, but when the other two, you're introducing new properties, right? And we still kind of were afraid of the coof, right?
Sure.
So people weren't as well received. People were like, they weren't as willing to risk it. Now that things have kind of begin to normalize a little bit more people are getting vaccinated, the things are kind of, even with the new moronic variant or whatever, people are like, oh, it's not really that bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now that things are kind of, people are more willing to risk it. So you've got that stuff, but you've also got Spider-Man. This is the third onset of the same character, right? And we know where the story's going. We've had this other stuff that, we've had WandaVision, and we've had all these other, we've had Loki, we've had all these things that are building up to this multiverse. It's the first time we've seen something they've built up to on the screen in a while. So we've got all of these things going for us, right? That we can really be excited for this film. That's the third installment in the series, where the other ones were just kind of either standalone or introducing new characters. So we're already invested in Tom Holland as Spider-Man. We're already and we're the hype to bring in the old characters. I think that's really Marvel or Sony, whoever did this, whoever's idea of brainchild this was, because you've seen that. Okay, like we'll go back to Bob Saget, right? And the new Fuller House. There's all these different things that have kind of been these throwbacks that they're bringing forward that have all been really popular. So you take these popular characters from the previous movies that were popular movies, and you're introducing them all into this giant fold of a movie. And as they're introducing, oh yeah, Willem Dafoe is going to be back in it, and we're gonna have Andrew Garfield back in it. You're gonna have all these characters that you loved years ago in this new film with the characters that are already established and already, you already invested in, right?
Yeah.
It's going to, you're bringing all of that stuff together into one, where you didn't do that in the other previous films. Plus, you've also got now the pandemic kind of loosening it. The grips are kind of loosening a little bit, and we can kind of become part of that. So I think that the hype was warranted. I think it was a good show. It was definitely worth the money, I thought, and I enjoyed it. But I just don't. I wonder too, like, if this would have been pre-pandemic, or if the pandemic never would have happened, I feel like it would have been well received, because it was a good movie and it was well produced and all the things. But I don't know if it would have hit the, beating Titanic kind of numbers.
Right.
Because there's not really any competition for it out either.
You're referencing Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, there's really no competition to Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Now, if Morbius sucks, right? That's on them. That's on that. You know what I mean? That's what I keep saying over and over. Make it good.
Make it good.
If Spider-Man would have sucked, right, or even been mediocre, it probably wouldn't have had the traction it would have had. But I really think that I did get a boost from being really one of the first good films after the pandemic, as far as the continuation of numbers.
Right.
Because there are people like there are people like who are bigger nerds than others, right? There are people who are going to see it multiple times, but to get this kind of numbers, this kind of money, right? You have to have a different. It has to get this different demographic of people that are willing to one either go to it in the first place, where a radar normally wouldn't, right? But also to get it to where you're going to get someone like a radar to go see it multiple times.
Yeah.
So there is something to be said for that.
I get it.
But if you had somebody who's an average moviegoer, right, and every 2 weeks you've got these big films coming out, which you don't have right now, you're going to have, okay, well, now Radar is going to go see this movie, and now Radar is going to go see that movie, instead of seeing Spider-Man for the third or fourth or fifth time. I think that
there's a lot to it. Was the pandemic. There's not a lot of competition. There was already hype built into it, just that it's the third of the Spider-Man franchise. It's, then there was the rumors and the fact that they were connecting all the friends. Like, there was so much. And then just like the lack of a lot of marketing was crazy. And that drove up hype because they really weren't. They released like the last trailer like 3 weeks before the movie came out, and like they really didn't do the typical kind of, and they could use the kind of pandemic as an excuse to not do a lot of the typical, they usually have to, travel and do all the interviews and do all the stuff. But yeah, I think it's well deserved. So it's well deserved.
It was well deserved. I do agree. I agree with that. I think they did good.
Mm-hmm. I would have been the first to say if they missed the mark. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. Love Spider-Man. And like with Homecoming and with Far From Home, I really like them, but by no means would I put them in the category of like, oh my God, the best Spider-Man movies ever. And in fact, as a purist of the true Spider-Man, it was kind of far from the mark. It was the MCU version of Spider-Man. It was this very fluffy, nothing goes wrong, I always win the day, I've got great mentors and support, everybody loves me kind of Spider-Man, which is pretty far from the Spider-Man that we know in most cases. So this was the movie that kind of pushed him, in my eyes, into a true to life Spider-Man in a lot of ways.
Now, where do we go from here with this character? We didn't really talk about this before. We just kind of did synopsis of the movie. Where do we go from here with Spider-Man?
So there's a lot of Spider-Man. Yeah, there's a lot of turmoil. So literally leading up to the premiere of the movie, all he said was how this was the last movie in my contract. This was it. He was like, I'm done after this. He made comments about how it was bittersweet. He made comments about how, I think he's like 26 or 27 now, something like that, which is crazy to me, but because he still looks like he's 12. But he said, like, if I'm still playing Spider-Man after 30, I did something wrong. Like, he made all these comments that really made it sound like this was the end for him. Mm-hmm. Whatever happened, like, I remember the night of the premiere, the Hollywood premiere, not the local, but the Hollywood premiere, they were doing interviews, and Kevin Feige, who's, the boss of Marvel, and Amy Pascal, who's kind of running things at Sony, they were like, yep, they're coming back. We're doing another trilogy. Like, they were like, nope, the secrecy stuff is over. Like, he's coming back. We're doing a trilogy. We're going to do more. He's staying in the MCU, blah, 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 blah. And it was like, whoa, what a turn. I don't know why. I don't know what happened. I don't know what negotiations were happening in the background that they finally felt good to just like spill the tea. But yeah, they've said that he's coming back. What capacity and how it's going to look and what the story's going to be, who knows? I think that a lot of that's going to come out with Multiverse of Madness. A lot of that's going to come out with the other seasons of Disney Plus shows to kind of flesh out, what's happening in the world. So yeah, we'll see. But I think it's going to be a minute. I think he wants to take a break from Spider-Man for a little bit. Mm-hmm. So it might be 3, 4, even 5 years because they have a lot of other stories to tell. But I do think he'll be back. And I think they're going to back up the freaking money truck to make sure they lock him in. And done other ways, like they're not doing the old school Marvel stuff of like locking guys in for 7-picture deals. They've totally changed the way on the back end of how they're doing this kind of stuff. So yeah, you're gonna see a lot of different kind of pieces. Moving around. In that is real quick before I forget, because I just had a thought dawn on me.
Yes,
for you guys in the audience, I've mentioned it before. It is definitely happening. The pieces are coming into position. Mark your calendars, because February 1st, which is what, 3 weeks away, February 1st will be the first ever WTF Nation Radar.
WTF Nation Radar, what's up? Hey,
I was looking at your little name tag under your thing. It'll be the first ever WTF Nation Radio Pop Culture Warrior roast of CQ. It's going down. We're roasting CQ. I already have a dais, a group of roasters, comedians who know me well, and are going to come, and some are going to pre-record because they're traveling and they're unavailable. So we'll play the clips, and some are going to be joining us live, and we are going to do the WTF Nation Radio Pop Culture Warrior roast of CQ. And if you guys want to be part of it, I want your best roast. I want your best jokes. Come at me, bro. Send them in if you wanna. If you want to send them in as quips, like little, one sentence things. You want to record your audio. You want to record video. Send it to me. Inbox me. I will use it. I'm not censoring this thing. I'm not gonna go like, well, I'm not gonna let that guy say that. You guys want to come at me?
No. Censor the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Censor the out of it.
The only thing, like, no hate speech. Obvious. Come on, we're all adults. No hate speech.
Yeah, come on. We're adults here. Be adults.
Like that.
Yeah.
But you want to come after me? I'm doofy looking. I grow hair like pubic hair. Whatever, man. You want to come at me? I love it. Bring the heat. Yes, right, Scott. He wants everybody to bring the heat. There you go. Playbacks from past shows on mess ups. Oh man, we don't have enough time to go back and watch our mess ups.
We only have a couple of hours. I don't know. Yeah,
we don't have that much time to go back in all our screw ups because we'd be here for ages. The first 6 months of this show was nothing but bloopers. So we're gonna be doing that. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's open to staff. If they, WTF Nation Radio staff want to get in on it, Radar, you're more than welcome to take some shots if you want. I got comedians gonna come on and do it. If the audience wants to participate, like I said, pre-record your stuff, send it in, or you can be in the chats doing stuff. That's fine, but it's gonna be a lot of fun. I've already cleared that day. We're gonna have no guests. We're just gonna do 2 hours of just torching me. And I'm looking forward to it. Bring your best / worst, because I have a feeling my audience ain't that funny.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
No, I mean we're not. Well, I mean I know I'm not.
Every week I'm gonna poke the bear. We'll probably do a break that day. Sure. We're not gonna do 2 solid hours, but we'll probably take a small break so I can go cry. Clean my face from all the tears, and then bring Blunt and Snoop will show up. That's
only if Martha Stewart comes.
I'm not promising anything, but I reached out. I happen to know through a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend, Jeffrey Ross, is one of the best roast masters of all time.
Yeah, he is the roast master of roast masters.
Yeah, he's the roast master general is what they call him. So I've reached out to his people to see if he wants to participate.
Even if he would record something, if he'd record like 2 minutes, what's that website?
Cameo.
Yeah. How much is a Cameo for him?
It depends.
I got 5 on it.
I think it's gonna be a little bit more than $5. I think it's gonna be a little bit more than $5. But yeah, it's.
I'm gonna look it up.
But yeah, so we're gonna be doing that. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm excited. It's gonna be a good time. I'm excited.
But I have an app now. Good job, Cameo.
All right, back to our headlines.
Gilbert Gottfried's on there for $175. Hold on.
That's that. I mean, I like.
Is he under actors or comedy?
He'd probably be under comedy. Yeah, comedian. Jeff Ross. If he's on there, It was big for a minute, and then I noticed it kind of fell off a little bit as far as who was on there.
No, he's not on here. Jeff Rawson is. Montel Williams is on here.
You'd be surprised at the people that are on there.
$125 from Montel Williams.
That seems a lot. I mean, no offense to anybody that's on there.
He might do it for free. He's like a veteran.
I mean,
he's in the Navy. He might do it for free.
Like with the whole cameo thing, like nothing but respect. There are guys that, go to conventions and they pay for autographs and pay for pictures and stuff like that. But the idea that you're going to get a 30-second video and you're going to pay hundreds of dollars for it.
Whoa, hundreds? You're really getting up there a little bit.
I mean, some of them are expensive. Some of them
aren't that bad. Agent Smith from The Matrix is $35.
That's actually reasonable.
I know that's what I mean. It's reasonable.
But so here's the thing with that though. Some of these guys won't do what you want them to do. So let's say, for instance, the guy that played Agent Smith. Let's say you want him to go like, "Hello, Mr. Whatever," like because like his character. Some of them be like, "Yeah, I don't do that." Like that. I'll say hi. I'll say, "Hey, happy birthday," blah blah blah. But they like, I'm not gonna do a character, or I'm not gonna, whatever. Like I get it. You're not gonna say things like, "Oh, I like dick," blah, blah. Like you're not gonna do stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe for enough money
that costs extra. But yeah. So
we're really getting to the point. I really don't know who these people are now.
See, that's my point. That's exactly my point. Personal message. Timothy, I see your comment. Personal message, business message. I'm not sure. Oh. So he says he found Jeff Ross $325 for a personal message, $12.50 for like a business shout out.
Oh, okay.
Like if he was like, "Yo, Pop Culture Warrior in the house, check them out, they're awesome," then that would cost you $12.50, which is crazy. Mike Tyson, $20,000. That's what I'm talking about. That's nuts.
Furious Roastmaster Jeff Ross for $325. How come he just says Roastmaster General? What is under Jeff Ross?
I don't know.
That's some fucking bullshit.
I dumb. What's up, Hiller? I see you out there, man.
Jean Lajoie.
My old sergeant, man. What's up? It was a long time ago. Ages ago. Yeah, so yeah, dude, I'm not gonna lie. I had this idea. I had this thought that I was like, oh, remember when we turned 1? I was like, what I'm gonna reach out to all these people and get like these shout outs. Like, hey, happy birthday, Pop Culture Warrior, you turned 1, or congratulations on being nominated for Best in Entertainment Podcast Award, like all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started looking at some of those prices and I was like, hell no, there's no way. Like even the cheapest, most random people, if you do 2 or 3, you're already up in the hundreds.
I don't know, dude. There's quite a few of them on here. Like this guy's $35.
Okay.
Matt Green, English actor and comedian. Matt Green.
Have you ever heard of Matt Green?
No, but he's only $35 fucking dollars.
For $35.
Pee Wee Herman's $350.
See, that's what I'm talking about, it man.
There's Gary Johnson. He's $25. Andrew Dice Clay is $350. Andrew Dice Clay is funny.
I mean, no disrespect, but when was the last time he was relevant?
Andrew Dice Clay is $350.
Mm-hmm.
Ron White, $200.
There you go. I love me some.
I think Ron White's funnier than Andrew Dice Clay.
I mean, he's had a bigger career. He's been more bankable as a star. I mean, I think
that woman has very large teeth. Sorry.
All right,
but anyway, okay. But I'm just saying, if you can get some of these 35, this one's like Granny's off a rocker. It's $35.
Why would I? Hi guys, well, yeah, congratulations.
She's probably fucking hilarious. That's probably why. I want to give her $35 just to do it right now. Some of these people, Juan Munoz, actor Comico, because I speak Spanish so well.
I mean, here's
$40.
The thing. Here's the thing. If you, I don't know. If you,
this girl is $19. Diana Rematamakakiki,
and she's from.
I don't fucking know. She's standing next to a cartoon character. She's $19.
She probably does the voice of a cartoon character, probably.
Yeah, well, I don't know who that cartoon character is, and she's $19.
Tim Morgan in the chat.
This girl's $4. This is Ahmad Lucas, a TikTok creator / comedian, is $4, dude.
Yeah,
$4.
Tim Morgan in the chat says he'll do it for 20. So there you go.
Well,
He'll
yeah,
give
but
us
you're
a
not
shout
famous.
Get on Cameo, put it for $20, and then we'll pay for it because apparently that's what you do.
Yeah.
One rate rules. Yeah. No, I was gonna say the funny thing is, let's say you incorporate, right? We make Pop Culture Warrior LLC.
Okay.
And then we buy some of those cameos. We can write those off as a business expense.
All right then.
Yeah, I'm just saying, tax write-off, man.
Let's just do that, dude. But I think it would be kind of fun to get some of these guys to do shout out. How come we have all these people that come on our show? We never have them do like a bumper for us.
You know, I've thought about that so many times. We
just kind of get to bullshit with them and have fun, and then we're like, all right, bye, have a good night, and then we're like, oh man, we should have them do a bumper for us.
Well, you want to know what the problem is?
We never do.
You really want to know what the problem is there's no where there's no space to do it. I would have to I'd have to go, okay, everybody stop the interview. I'm gonna need you to read these lines now, and everybody quiet, and let them read the line so that then I can, like, clip
honestly,
it.
Though, too, I'm gonna be a little bit forward with this, though. I wonder if that doesn't help us get guests, though, too. They know we're not gonna get sucked into doing some stupid bumper. You know what I mean?
Possibly. So we
just have fun with them. We just have fun with them. We treat them with respect. We learn about them. They tell us about what they're about, and then they leave. So we don't try to solicit. We don't try to waste their time.
Yeah, we don't ask for favors.
We just have fun with them.
We don't ask for favors or freebies or anything like that.
Yeah. I mean, if you're listening and you've been on our show and you want to do a bumper for us, great. That'd be cool. We'll hook it up.
I'll tell you what.
We're not gonna make you do it.
You know what would be great? Hey, anybody out there, go to the freaking Pop Culture Warrior Facebook page. I think they have a section that it's like reviews. If you love the show, put in a review. It's gonna that way.
And if you don't love the show, it's not a real thing. Don't put bad stuff.
There's no place to do that, so don't worry about it. Here you go. Some people from the chats. Charles says he'll do a shout out for a hoodie. All right.
Wow, look at that.
I don't even have a Jen would do it for a Klondike bar. All right.
Ooh,
Captain Wayne says do way more shady shit for a nutty bar. Okay. And
you don't want to mouthful that.
Pete, God bless you. Pete says he would do it for free. So there you go. Let's go. Let's get some shout outs going, people. You know what I could really do? For real. If we talk for real for a moment.
All right, real talk.
If people sent in like a legit 10-second, 20-second of like, I love Pop Culture Warrior, or it's my favorite thing, whatever it is they want to say, I could take all those, chop them up, and do like a really badass, like when like you listen to the radio and they do those like it's the bumper, it's the plug for the station, but it's like with people talking. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's like, hey, this is blah blah blah, and I love blah blah, and then hey, this is the like I could do that if people felt like recording something and sending it in. Then I could do that, but if not, then I can't do nothing with nothing. But I do one day want to get to a point where, our guests that come on do like a little spot, a little bump, says, hey man, this is,
but again, if they want, maybe we should figure something out like when we're done at the end of the interview, kind of, hey, thanks for coming on. Can you give me a 30-second bumper or something? Can you give me 2 seconds?
So
give me 5 seconds of your time. Say thanks for listening to Pop Culture Warrior CQ and Radar. Or just CQ.
We're gonna pull the curtain back here for a second. So we've always connected with our guests via Skype, and there's no real way. Like when we toss it to break, I can talk to the guests, but there's no real way to record. I tried using Skype to record their audio, and it was trash. Like it just didn't sound good at all. So now that we're using this new software, there's a little button there that says record locally. So when we toss the break, this is something we'll test it. We're gonna test it behind the scenes. We'll test it behind the scenes, but I could possibly record just that, like right, like all right, you ready to do the thing? Hit record, and then record that little bumper of them doing it. No, we do not use Zoom. We're better than that.
No, Zoom is very handy for meetings.
Yes.
And if you're gonna have multiple people, Zoom is handy for that kind of stuff. For what we do, what we have right now, honestly, this is the best quality I've seen from us, especially video quality. And I don't know, I can't without listening to. I want to hear the audio playback. Like tomorrow, I'll listen to the podcast at work.
Yeah,
and I kind of want to see the difference because I've always felt in the podcast and when live stream it sounds fine, but in the podcast it always seems like I've when I listen to it, the guest and I are kind of in the background a little bit. You can very much tell you're the source. So when this comes out, if it's not all up, like I think it'll come out really, really good. If we just feels like right now in my ear headphones, it sounds like we're in the same room. Right.
Yes.
Where in the past using Skype, it has not felt that way.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel that way in Zoom either. Zoom is very diluted as to the quality of the thing.
Yeah.
Zoom is great because it's free.
And free, you know what I mean? Is always great.
It's free for a reason. So I think we do a good job here with that. I really am happy with what we have right currently. And like I said, we'll see how it looks tomorrow when I download the podcast and play it at work. So
no, I appreciate that. Yeah. I'm gonna burn another minute or two here, and then we're gonna toss to a break because I've got my digital green room here on the side that I can see and you guys can't see, and hoping that our guest pops in any second now. And then we can
figure it out.
And then we can.
Oh, did you give her the password?
Yes.
Did you give her the password?
I gave the password. The password has been given.
All right, because you didn't give it to me, and if I didn't know it before, I would have.
So no joke. I sent out the email because you got to go through the people and the agents and the whatever and blah blah blah. And I sent out the email. I was like, hey, here's the link. This is what we're gonna do. This is how you do it. Walk through all the steps. Send. 15 minutes later, I go, shit, I forgot to give him the password. So I had to send off another meeting or another email. So sorry, I forgot to add in that there's a password for it. So just use that, and then
there's a password.
So
yep.
But yeah, all right, guys. We're gonna toss to a break. Still waiting on the guest to appear, but I'm hoping in the next couple minutes. You guys are awesome. I appreciate each and every one of you coming out tonight. This interview is gonna be really good. I hope you'll stick around. As always, chats are open. If you got questions, I'll tell you real quick, I'll tell you that this woman is an incredible actress. She's been doing this since she was 11. All right. We'll do the whole rundown during the interview as we always do. But she's been in the business since she was 11 years old, has worked consistently, is currently starring in a TV show. So I'm sure there's lots of interesting things that she can tell us about the whole process and everything. So very excited to talk with her, and hopefully, fingers crossed, here in the next few minutes, we'll be able to connect with her and then be good to go and do the interview. So
yes,
appreciate you guys. We're gonna take a short break. Let's give us about 5-7 minutes max, and then we'll rock and roll with the second hour of Pop Culture Warrior. Say bye, Radar.
Bye, Radar.
All right, guys. Shots.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
I stood there in that middle of church with a bottle of gin in my hand. I'm looking up at the rooftop like I'm trying to find my long-lost friend. My days turn to nights, my nights turn to weeks when you're living life on the road. I'm halfway back to New Orleans with a few more drinks to go. I said, tip 'em on back. Well, let's tip 'em on back. I finally made it back to Bourbon Street, picking some of them old night bars, hoping I could find myself playing music on my guitar. For the kid around, they all shouted out as the drinks began to flow. I pulled out that old guitar, then I showed them how to do-si-do. I said, tip 'em on back. Well, let's tip 'em on back. with a bottle of gin in my hand. Looking up at the rooftop like I'm trying to find my long-lost friend. Days turn to nights, but nights turn to weeks when you live a life on the road. Halfway back to New Orleans with a few more drinks to go. I said, tip 'em on back. Well, let's tip 'em on back.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio. Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for hanging in with us there. A little slightly longer break than usual, but it's all good. We're back. Very, very, very excited. Because we have, sorry about that, buttons. We have an incredible guest with us tonight. So my guest tonight is an incredible actress who's been killing it on screens, big and small, ever since she was just 11 years old. Whether you remember her as Chris's little sister Tonya on Everybody Hates Chris, or you've seen her amazing portrayal of Olympic gold medalist Gabby Douglas, or you recognize her from her current gig as Dana on Mythic Quest, it's easy to see why everybody loves tonight's guest. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm pop culture welcome to the incredible Imani Hakim. Yay!
Yay! Wow, what an intro.
I try to give you a little something. Thank you so much for being on the show, for joining us tonight, for being with the audience. I thank you wholeheartedly.
Thank you. Yeah, no problem.
I know we had some tech issues. We're good. Everything's great. You sound good. You look good. We're rocking and rolling. Everybody is in the chat saying welcome and hello. So guys, as always out there, if you have questions for Imani, feel free to throw them in the chats. I will read them off where appropriate. And we'll go with that. So right out the gate, I want to ask you, I ask all my guests this: what is your connection to the military, be it U.S. or foreign?
My connection to the military. My aunt on my dad's side served when she was younger, but also she she spent some time in the military, but then because of some health issues, she was no longer able to serve. But I think that's my only connection to the military. But she served very proudly for the short time that she was involved.
Right on, right on. That's a wonderful connection. Were you close with her, or is it more of like a distant?
I am close with her. I think she served before either I was very young or before I was even born. So,
Okay, okay.
yeah,
Well, we appreciate her. Thank her for her service. That's very awesome. We have
absolutely.
lots of different branches that are represented here. Myself was Army, but we have a lot of them represented in the audience as well. Okay, so a little bit. I pride myself in getting to know my guests before we speak. I really like to dig in and get to know their body of work, what their interests are, hobbies, things like that. And I have to tell you, you are a very fascinating but exclusive kind of person. You
Okay.
and I mean this all positively, but that everything I could find about you, it fascinated me. But you do kind of hold it close to the vest. You kind of keep certain things to yourself, which I respect. That in a
Mhm.
in a day and age where everything is just public, public, public. You have done an excellent job of keeping some things to your private self, which I really respect for that.
Thank you. I the older I get, I've made it more of a goal because, as you're sort of developing when during my teenage years and my older in my early 20s, it was sort of like I would overshare a little bit, and I think the older that I get, the more life experience I gain. I just crave this privacy and just keeping things intimate. And it's funny that you even brought that up because I'm taking an Instagram break and I haven't been on since November. And so I just feel like it's very important because everything is so accessible now.
Mhm.
I feel like it's important for us to kind of like pull back and be present to what's happening right now, right next to us, and not get too hung up on the internet because everything is so curated.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's very important to me.
It is true. I didn't want to call you out for not posting, but but that's great. That's great. And especially it's the
Yeah.
time for family. It's the time for reflection. It was the holiday season. So I think everybody deserves to take a
Hmm.
little break from all that 24/7 in your face kind of stuff. So you deserved it.
For sure. Thank you. It's good to have a hiatus. It could be addicting.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is actually our first episode of the new year. We took our little holiday break, so you are coming strong out the gate, representing 2022. So we really
Ah,
appreciate it.
I
Um,
love it.
so you were born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio.
Yes.
You have two older brothers, three younger brothers, and in my digging in about you, I found that you've been creative and interested in that creative process of writing and performing from as early as 7 years old, and that you
Yeah.
were you studied acting at the Caramoo House Theater in Cleveland. What what can you remember at that age, at 7 years old? What was it about performing that it was such a passion for you?
First of all, let me just like nod to you for doing your research and your homework. Yes, come on. But yes, Caribou House Theater. Yeah. Wow. It was just such a huge part of my development. I'll start there. But before I even got to Caramoo House, I just, you know, I love spending time alone and just creating and being in my room, and that's sort of how I got my feet wet. I as you mentioned, I have all brothers, so um, I didn't have any sisters, so it wasn't like I had like a constant playmate. So I just took that and used my imagination to, create worlds, create friends, create all these things, and turned it into an outlet. And then my dad saw that and he was like, okay, my kid is clearly a weirdo. Let's put her into put her into some theater or something. And that's how I really got to express myself because I was also sort of, I wouldn't say shy, but more reserved. And I feel that acting and creating and writing and different just art just made me helped me come alive in that way. And so it was sort of like this voice that I didn't know that I had. And so yeah, it's a great outlet.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Um, and so, because before we get into the career, I really want to get to know the person. I want to get to know the person who was
Yeah.
there before the career, which for you is a little difficult because you started at 11. There wasn't much of a person. I don't mean to say that badly, but at 11 years old, you don't have a, a long life before acting. So
You're just finding out what your favorite color is,
right.
really, you know?
I have a
Yeah.
4-year-old, and I couldn't imagine in a couple years him going like, "All right, man, I want to get in the business. Let's go." And that blows
Mhm.
my mind. So what's fascinating is that you obviously, from 7 on, you're training, you're doing these different things. At 11, you convince your dad to just pack it all up, pick everybody up, drive across the country, and go to LA to chase your dream of acting, which I need to understand. How did you convince that man at 11 years old that like this is the thing to do? Because I know a lot of 11-year-olds and they can't convince me to give them an Oreo, let alone pack up my life and move it to LA. So how'd you do it?
You know what? It didn't take much convincing at all. If anything, it was probably reversed. It wasn't like it was more like I see something in you from him, from the dad's perspective, and this is what I think we could do about it. How do you feel about it? And I'm like, hell yeah, we're going to LA, you know? Even though it wasn't that simple, but that's basically how it happened. And so we packed up all of our stuff. Uh, it was just my dad and I at first, drove across the country 3 or 4 days. Our van was breaking down. We were living in our van once we got to LA and didn't have any connections or relationships. And then my dad even turned to me again, was like, this isn't really a living condition for an 11-year-old child. I think I wasn't even we were having trouble with the schooling situation. So he was just like, we can leave if you want to. I'm like, no, I'm willing to stay out here as long as it takes. And so it was just kind of like a mutual thing that we just happened to be on the same page,
Wow.
And usually it's hard because sometimes it's like a parent making a decision or the kid having to package it for their parents to be like, please let me chase my dreams. But it wasn't like that. It was just like, you want to do this? Yeah, I'm in. This sounds fun. Let's do it together.
Wow. He sounds like an incredible man. So you're very lucky to have that kind of
Yeah.
support. I I I I did a couple of high school musicals, but nobody was
Okay.
ready to pack me and send me to LA. So life took a different
That's all
path.
right.
Um,
It's scary. It's a scary decision to make.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine. As an adult, I'm an established adult with an income. If you told me I had to pack up and move to LA right now, I'd be like, I can't do that. That's crazy. So for you to be,
Yes.
maybe it's the magic of being an 11-year-old. We're like, everything's gonna be fine.
That's the point. That's the thing. It's crazy because if that conversation were to happen right now, would I be able to still be uninhibited with my decision making? I don't know. But as an 11-year-old child, that's the imagination. I think it's just like I'm not worried about bills and all that stuff like my dad might be thinking. So of course I'm gonna be like move to a warmer place.
Yeah,
Yes. Be on television? Absolutely. You know.
yeah. And now yours is a triumphant story in that going from a practically unheard of to 3 months later you show up or you're in LA. 3 months later you book Everybody Hates Chris. What for you? Because I can't imagine that level of success. That's like I release a podcast and then next week I'm as big as Joe Rogan, and it's like that's a very drastic change for anyone, let alone an 11-year-old. So what was going through your mind as like this stuff is happening to you?
I feel that I didn't even. know what was going on because there's no rule book, there's no guidebook. No one's going to be like, okay, this is how your life is going to change. Something as simple as, oh, now I have to look a certain way when I go out in public,
Mhm.
or there are going to be people touching my face and my clothing and all this stuff like all the time. It's just like the smallest things that you just no one could really prepare you for. But yeah, I think for the most part, the people around me tried to keep me grounded, from my manager to my dad to my brothers. I still had to go home and do chores, even though I was on a TV show. Um, you know, uh, there was still a bedtime or whatever it was, but um, yeah, but then there's also the other side of that where you're in the grocery store and someone's like, "I hate your character," like you're just like, "What?" So, it's weird, but luckily, I think for me, I think it would have been different if there was more of like a skyrocket takeoff from that age, and luckily, the show was popular, but not so popular where I couldn't still live
Right.
just a normal childhood life.
Mhm.
I got to still have my balance. So, but if I were a Disney kid, maybe it would be very, very different. But I'm lucky that I got to have some sort of contrast and find balance in that at such a young age.
Yeah, sure. You want steady growth, right? You don't want the
Yeah.
skyrocket, which people tell me this, oh, any day you're gonna go viral. I'm like, I don't want to go viral. I don't want that because that is not a sustainable thing. It sets expectations and all these different things.
Yeah.
I watched the reunion special of Harry Potter, and they talk about there's these little
Oh, I
kids,
gotta watch that.
and it I mean it rocks their life. Your life is completely different from that day on. You need security, and you can't live a normal life, and it sounds horrible. So that was one of my questions, was how was that, and you answered it. So great, you're right on schedule. Um,
Yes. I hope so.
so so a little bit more before we talk about Everybody Loves Chris, because I mean it's a great show. Um, you have described yourself as a homebody, saying you prefer staying in and watching Netflix instead of going out. Um, would I be wrong in saying that you're also a little bit of a nerd? Is that right?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, there's a difference, but I wanna preface this by saying there's a difference between nerd and geek,
Sure. Oh,
or just
absolutely.
something. So, um, I wouldn't say that I'm a geeky, but think I have my nerd tendencies.
Sure.
And so, yeah, I just like my little quirks, but I think we're normalizing the nerd.
Yeah. No,
It's
absolutely.
kind of not so far-fetched anymore. Everybody's a nerd.
Yeah, it's not a bad word anymore. It's like,
Mm-mm.
it is the thing. But because I might have seen some pictures of you reading kind of like comics and
Yeah.
or the collect, what they call the collections, the novels. But I know
Yeah.
you're into anime too, right? What anime are you into?
Yeah. I really love Hunter. Is it Hunter x Hunter or Hunter by Hunter?
Yeah.
What's the correct way to say that?
That's one
Do you
I'm
know?
I'm not as familiar with. You're cutting deep.
Okay.
You're cutting deep on that one.
Okay. Because someone told me it was Hunter by Hunter. I'm like, but I don't know. But I really love that one, and I wanted to come back, but I don't think it will. Attack on Titan is really,
Mm.
really good. I actually haven't watched the newest season yet because I was waiting for it to all be released, so I could just binge watch it. Um, what else? Obviously, the classic Naruto is how I got my intro to it. I will go
Uh,
back and watch it as many times because I think it's just so good and it never gets old, even with all the filler episodes, it's a great anime. But
Any Dragon Ball Z in
yeah,
there? I mean, come on. That's a classic.
my brothers were big Dragon Ball fans. I think I didn't understand what I was watching back then. But I do have an appreciation for it. I just didn't appreciate it at the time when it was really, really popular.
Right.
So maybe if I go back and watch it now that it is something that I adore, I will maybe find
Yeah, because I saw
more appreciation for it.
I saw a thing that said your hobbies include dance, music, reading, and martial arts. And I was like, I wonder if that comes from the anime. Is it the martial arts because it's what you
Ah,
saw in cartoons, or is it martial arts really like?
no.
Did you grow up watching Karate Kid? What was it?
No, this is who my dad is. Let me tell you who my dad is. He's like, you guys are gonna learn martial arts, especially me being the only girl. He was He was like, "You're gonna be tough," even though I'm such a sensitive, soft, emotional little being. I'm so empathetic that I just can't look at something or hear something without crying. So I think it was just his way of like, you can shake it off and toughen up. And so my dad would teach us a jujitsu ground fighting. He studied and then he taught it, passed it down to us. So I would my test would be to learn the jujitsu ground fighting, and then he would even have me go up against the neighborhood boys to show them that just because I'm a very petite young girl doesn't mean I can't kick your ass, you know? And so I would. And but it's been a long time since I practiced some martial arts. I'm a bit out of practice, but that is the history of how I got into that. It's my daddy, you
Very
know.
cool. Very cool. First question from the audience. So this is off my script. Uh, who is an actor slash actress that you met and were starstruck by?
Oh, oh, yeah, ooh, I would say Will Smith. I did a movie called Reign Over Me when I was around 12 years old. Don Cheadle played my father, Jada Pinkett Smith played my mother, and I love Jada Pinkett Smith as well. And so Will Smith came to set one day visiting, and that was when and Will Smith is still Will Smith, but that was, Will Smith was Will Smith, like in
Right.
the height of all of his
Yeah.
action movies and just killing it. And I was just like, I can't believe that I'm at work right now as a 12-year-old girl and Will Smith is right there hugging Jada Pinkett Smith, and he's like, he picked her up because she's so tiny, and he's just swinging her around, and I was just like, this is so cool. This is my life. This is awesome.
That's a great. That is a great. Will Smith is always a great answer. So outstanding. A
Yeah,
plus.
and he's so kind and nice.
Yeah, he's seen. There's certain people. They tell you never meet your heroes. I'm personally, I love Back to the Future growing up, so I did get to meet
Mm.
Michael J. Fox, and it was the scariest day of my life. But man, he's just the nicest guy. Oh, he's a sweetheart. So those are always the best when you get to meet
Luckily,
someone
yeah, luckily I haven't met any jackasses yet. Not anyone. Like I'm happy to say
that
that
you're
like
allowed to talk
all
about. Right? Yeah.
that I'm allowed to talk about. But no, like I can't. Even if we weren't live right now, I'm trying to think of like any people that are like of height of career. I can't really recall anybody that's been a total
Yeah.
dick to me. So
And
I'm
and I
lucky.
mean, kids in Hollywood, actor kids tend to have a reputation, not for the most part, but that they can be very, dramatic. They can be very prima donna, or like, you have these coming out of these prestigious schools and things like that. Did you ever have any beef with any other acting kids?
I'm not. That's a really weird question because I don't think it was like it was sort of not really beef, and I don't know if it had to do with there was some ego. You are auditioning and you're seeing the same people over
Mm,
and over while you're auditioning, and you're also what sucks is you're also in the same friend group as homeschool kids because we're all homeschooled, so we just hang out at the same time. So it's like you're friends, but you're also like auditioning for the same thing. So naturally, I think not that there's beef, there's a little competitive spirit,
sure.
and so it,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think
but
like almost like
you outgrow that.
sports teams, right? Like where it's like you have
Yeah.
kind of a respect for the other guys because they're in the same field, but at the same time you're like, I want to beat
Yeah.
them.
Yes.
Okay,
Exactly.
excellent, excellent. So, and one thing I do want to note to let the audience know, because it's something that I learned, is that here you are, you book Everybody Hates Chris. You're 11 years old. You do it for 4 seasons, and I mean, it was hugely popular. It was very popular. I remember it being very popular, and I loved it when I watched it at the time.
Mm.
And even while doing that, I saw that you were also still studying acting at like was it the Alexander's Workshop School in Lakewood and at the Young Actors Space in Burbank, California. So you were working
Yeah.
and learning at the same time. Was that difficult at all? Were you like, oh man, like, because does that make you hard on yourself? Because you're like, I just did a scene and now I'm practicing a thing, and like, oh, I messed up, and then kind of going back and forth with that.
Yes, I'm a perfectionist. I can be very hard on myself. It's really tough to find that balance. And I just feel like for any kids or any younger people who want to get into the industry, and if they're still in school, you just have to like really, really love it, and um, being able to, again, like have that balance of just being a child, but also going to acting class and working on my craft, but not only studying there, having to get a certain grade point average to be able to work. So being, finding that balance is just, it's challenging. And I wasn't very good at it, but I made it work to the best of my ability. But yeah, you just really have to love it because it's no easy feat at all. Not at all.
No, that's amazing. And
Yeah.
there's so much like getting to learn about you. I mean, you're an actress, you're a producer, you're a director, you're a writer, you're a humanitarian. I mean,
Mm,
all those things. I mean, is being an actress, is that like the passion? Is that the top thing? Do you strive to be more of a director? Do you strive to be more of a writer? Where does that break down for you?
mm. Wow, great question. Thank you. I honestly love it all, and I think that acting for a long time, and it's something that I love. I love. I love. But I also look at it as a way as a gateway to do so much more because as an actor it's great, but there's only so much limited power, quote unquote power that you have. And I think that I really want to inflict change. And how do I do that? It takes being at the actual table, the people who make the decisions, and that comes with like producing or directing or whatever, or just doing more things behind the scenes. But I think that acting is something I'm very passionate about, but I think it's also just like, it's all just a stepping stone to, branch wider. So,
Awesome,
yeah.
awesome, great answer. Great answer to a great question.
Thank you. Thank you.
So another question from the chats from Tim. What was the first big ticket item that you bought to spoil yourself?
Big ticket item that I bought to spoil myself. Someone asked me this question before, and honestly, because I was 11 and because we were quote unquote kind of homeless, we were living in our van. We got an apartment and some food, Tim. We we got the things that we needed. So I feel like that was a big ticket item for us to have like a really nice apartment. Um, Outside of that, I'm trying to recall. I think I got my dad a car, but again, it was a used car because we were also frugal.
Well, smart.
But yeah. But as an adult, let's see. As an adult in my adult career, I think it was a new car because I drove the same car for a very long time. So
There you go. You gotta treat yourself
yeah,
sometimes. I'm all for saving and being
yeah,
smart, and once in a while, you gotta enjoy it while you got it, right? Uh,
yes, for
and
sure.
Tim said outstanding, so he liked your answer.
Thanks, Tim.
So okay, so everybody hates Chris. I mean, what a phenomenal show! I know it only ran for 4 seasons, 88 episodes. But it's something that is still relevant today. It is still beloved today. It's still watched in syndication, both here and abroad. I've been around the world. I can tell you, it's been seen on a lot of different TVs. Um, what do you think about it now that it's still such a beloved sitcom?
It almost feels like it's even more loved now. As to your point, it is worldly watched. Like the impact that it's had on Brazil. I don't know. You've done some work and you've seen those comments. But yeah, I think when we were in it, it didn't feel that massive to me. Um, Granted, we didn't have the internet back then, so everything just sort of feels bigger in a way. Um, but yeah, I think for me, it feels more like a aha moment, or I pinch myself now these days to know that people are still watching it. There's a, I, what was it, like a week or two ago? I was, my partner and I just moved into a new spot, and we were doing some shopping, and there were I got recognized from Everybody Hates Chris 3 times that week, which doesn't ever happen in LA. It usually happens like when I'm traveling outside of
Wow.
Los Angeles, because people don't normally come up to me in LA. If they do recognize me, they're like, "You look familiar," you know. But and I was just like, "That's so strange," and I'm so grateful that people still watch the show, and still have so much appreciation, and even tell me how much the show has meant to them, and how it inspired them to be an actor, and how it's meant so much to them as a little black girl, or whatever it was. It's just it's so important, and it still is, and I'm a fan of the show because I think we were doing stuff that other shows weren't doing right there, and we were so unapologetically black on when it wasn't really no, acceptable to be
Sure.
like that,
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm very grateful that that's been such a huge part of my journey, and it still resonates with people so strongly. So yeah, it's a freaking awesome show.
It was very un-Cosby show. If you get what I'm saying,
Yes.
you know what I mean? It
Yes.
it really did. Now, I mean, you don't know. I grew up in New York City. I grew up in the ghetto. I grew up in Spanish Harlem. So I understood living on the block. I understood, living on top of each other and all the things. So, even as not as a black man, but as a Spanish man, it resonated
Mhm.
with me. And like I see myself in some of those characters. I see my situation
Mhm.
represented when, you watch Friends. It was like, I live in New York City. My situation resembles nothing of Friends
Nothing.
by no
Nothing.
stretch of the imagination. So a show
Yeah.
like that did resonate with me so much, and it meant so much to me to know that, like, oh yeah, my family's pretty, it's pretty crazy too. My family's pretty, and it normalizes it. Like, oh look, there are
Yes.
nobody's perfect.
Nobody's perfect. Even for me, being on the show, I like came in, 2 older brothers. There I am playing a character who has 2 older brothers. My mom would pop me in a second. She didn't play any games. My dad was also very like, is when I would ask to purchase something, he's just like, is it a necessity? Like, even after we started making money, it was always, is it a necessity? And
Mm,
like, that's your favorite word. But yes, it resonates. And it's still to this day is so it resonates so hard.
mm,
But I love that you had that connection and experience with the show as well, that it was
absolutely.
able to like cross cultures, and that's the point of what we do.
Absolutely. Especially there weren't a lot of Spanish families on TV at the time, so it was the
Yes.
closest thing I could get, and I would loved it. Um,
Hell
do,
yeah.
what is your and I know you're 11 through 15 during that period of time. Do you have, like, what's a favorite memory? Like, when you think back, it's that first thing that just kind of snaps to you all the time, that is just your favorite thing to think back to about that time.
Ooh, I have a couple that just popped into my mind. Excuse me. One of the first things that popped into my mind, I think it was Christmas time, or maybe it was just because, but it was season one. I think it was the end of season one or season two, very early on in the show. And Terry Crews bought all of the kids on the show iPhones, and I was like, oh, that's so nice. Is this what people do? We just buy each other gifts? And so I think from then on, when I am on a project that I just really adore and I love the people, I give rap gifts because I think it made me feel so good. Not because it was an iPhone, but because someone gave me
Mm,
something. And so I I try to implement that into other projects that I work on because it just feels really good to give and to see their reaction when they receive. So that's one of
yeah.
my favorite memories.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And just so you know, you're getting a lot of kudos in the chats. They're not questions, but people just saying about how, like, they appreciate what you're talking about. That we always can be our own worst enemies and worst critics. That they love how your childhood makes you so down to earth now, and that you're invited to our next cookout. So You're getting lots of love from the audience.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So
Thank you.
do you keep up with? I know the business. I know it's hard. Everybody's off working and doing their own projects. You never really face to face with anybody. But do you try to keep up with some of the cast from that show?
Yes, and in our own version of that, because again, we were so young when we were on the show, so it wasn't like we were all BFFs or whatnot.
Mm.
But we stay connected through social media, the power of social media. And every once in a while, I might send a DM and be like, "Hey, I'm thinking about you. I just wanted to send you like do a little check-in." But like as when we were on the show, the kids were hanging out all the time, like
Sure.
all the time. That was they were my brothers,
You didn't
but
have
as
you
of
didn't have
now,
enough.
because I know. I need more. I just need more brothers. But now, because we've all gone our separate ways and we're all, fully into adulthood, it's not like a constant communication. But what's really nice is Terry Crews loves to, have birthday parties or whatever it is, and that's sort of usually like our mini reunions, and it's always so much love from just the people that were in front of the camera, the family that but also the people behind the camera, like Owen, who did our voiceovers, or he would do the narration for us when we were filmed,
Mm.
and they would of course dub it with Chris Rock's voice. But now he's a showrunner for the last OG, and so it's just so much love and support. So though we don't talk every day, whenever we see each other, it's just like I cry. It's one of those moments where I just cry because
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's such a
I'm an emotional person.
that's a foundational kind of part of your life. That's the building blocks of what became your career. So it makes sense to be emotionally connected to that part of your life.
Yes,
Um,
very much.
Last question I'll ask you about this one. If you can channel 11-year-old Imani,
Mm.
you just booked this thing. You know, if I were to ask her, what does success look like for you being an actress? What will you define success as? Can you remember what you might have thought at that time? What was success for you?
Yeah. I think for me at that time, it was, I think it was the thought. This is such a crazy thought for me to have at 11, but it was the weight of being able to get my family out of the hood. That was what it was for me, like to be able to be in a life-changing position where we get to experience things and see things in a new light that we've never ever seen, that we never thought were possible. And I think even when I found out that I got the role of Tanya, I remember where I was. We were in a McDonald's parking lot, and I was doing my homework in the back of our van, and I got the call from my team. And I remember just sobbing for like 30 minutes because I'm like, I'm a millionaire. That's not true at all, at all. But that's what it felt like. I was like, I can do so much stuff now. And I think I want to hold on to that. I
Mm.
want to hold on to that desire of just being like, this is to inflict change. Going back to that, it's like I do this because I want it to keep pushing us forward, whether it be my immediate family or friends or the community or whatever it is. I do this because I want it to, keep building and pushing us forward.
Oh, that's awesome. And sorry, one last thing, because I read too that you didn't originally read for Tanya, right? Didn't you audition for another character on the show? Or no, no, I'm sorry, that was Mythic Quest. We're gonna get to
Mythic
that.
Quest.
I'm
Yeah.
getting my notes confused, but awesome. So I mean, we're having such a good time. We haven't even got into I'm gonna try to jump ahead a little bit because there's so much to talk about. I'm so fascinated with your career and the things you've done. I really want to talk
Thank
about
you.
2014, the Gabby Douglas story. I mean, that's a huge um, character to play, a huge because this is based on someone's life. You are representing what they stood for and what they accomplished. When you're deciding to go for to audition for that and try to get that role, do you feel any pressure with that of like, man, I got to do justice to this person's story?
Absolutely. And the way my anxiety was set up back then, it was really pressurized. Um, absolutely. I Gabby Douglas is someone that I respect, and she did something so important and represented something so important. Um, and so auditioning for a role like that, like it was just you just want to feel worthy of filling those shoes and telling and bringing that person's story to life on screen. And so I just wanted to do my due diligence. I wanted to respect her story in the in the playground that they provided. But yeah, I just feel that it was just so important, and I'm just so grateful that I got to portray someone that was such a huge it has a huge impact on history, um but
Yeah.
yeah, man, absolutely, so much so much pressure.
For those in the audience that don't know, Gabby Douglas was an Olympic gold medalist in gymnastics. So obviously you had to do a lot of the moves or as best as you could, a lot of those moves. What was the preparation for a role like that?
Yeah, well, it was very quick. I'll tell you that much. I wanted it to be more time, but it wasn't, because it was a Lifetime film, so those type of projects tend to move very quickly. But I auditioned, did the callback, blah blah blah, that whole thing, booked it, and they're like, okay, you're flying out to Canada in 2 weeks, and I'm like, great. Um, no, I don't even know if it was 2 weeks. Maybe it was. It was 2 weeks max. So I get to Canada. First of all, I'm like working out like crazy. Because I got to get those arms, those Gabby Douglas arms, and then also they provided some dance rehearsal, gymnastics rehearsal. We learned all the choreography. We worked with a local trainer and a coach there. Also, my lovely, lovely stunt double was amazing and very helpful on screen and behind the scenes. Just working with me hands on, and we worked so hard together, just matching each other's movements and stuff, so we could blend as fluently as we possibly could. But everybody was so helpful. My puppy just came outside to say hello. Hi, buddy. But yeah, but in the short time span that we had to get prepared, it was just like I was just on it as
Yeah.
best as
What
I could be.
in preparing for that role also and learning her story and getting familiar with her, was there anything about her story that really surprised you as you were kind of diving into it?
Yeah, I think for me, the surprise that I got with Gabby is how um, similar our stories sort of were, and how much we had in common. Just like the
Mm,
coming up through our chosen careers. So yeah, it was really nice to be able to resonate with something like that. Like I didn't feel like I had to dig so deep that it felt so foreign to me. I was lucky enough to have the life experience at however age, um, to be able to portray this story as authentically as I possibly could because we had so many similarities.
right, right. And kudos to you because your performance was nominated for an outstanding actress in a TV movie or miniseries, which is, I mean, that's a huge accomplishment. And I looked at some of the other people that were nominated, and it was no slouch in that category. There was a lot of notable people, and here you are, just a couple years into your career. So what does that mean to you to get that kind of recognition, to be nominated for such an award?
These types of conversations are so important because we forget about these moments, right? And we forget to give ourselves take a moment and give ourselves kudos because I didn't know. I just like forget. Like you're in the moment and you're just like whether it's like it's exciting in the moment or it isn't good enough in the moment and you just tend to forget. And so I just want to thank you really quickly to for reminding me that this stuff is happening and it has happened and it's so important and I'm grateful for it all. But yeah, Gabby Douglas was just something. It's one of my favorite projects that I've ever worked on because of the experience, because of the story and just being able to stretch my instrument in ways that I've never been able to do before. And also, like you said, just being mentioned in the same sentence as some other incredible performers, and overall, it's so important. And I look at all of my, my career thus far as just like it's all equally important, and Gabby Douglas, portraying Gabby Douglas, just really stretched me as a performer, but also as like a woman. It
Mm.
really helps in my development.
Yeah, yeah, and really, I mean, you've done so much, so many things that I'm skipping over. Chocolate City, Sharknado, The Fourth Awakens, which
A classic.
I mean, real quick, I got one sec. That seems like the craziest possible movie to be on. Was it as ridiculous as it seems from an outsider's perspective?
Yes, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's silly. It's so funny because I mean, it's no spoilers. It's how many old, whatever, how many years old. So anyway, it's just ridiculous because it's not even like green screen, really.
Hmm.
You're just like out there with your guns, just shooting at nothing, screaming and running from sharks,
Mm.
you know,
Flying sharks,
in a
yes.
tornado, flying sharks. And it's so silly, but it was so much fun.
Yeah,
It's so much fun because it's silly. You're just having fun and laughing, and I had a blast.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, it's been so cool to watch as I look through your resume, and a lot of times people will get pigeonholed, as they're this type of character, they're this type of actor, or what have you. And you go from the silly sitcom to something as serious as like a biopic with Gabby Douglas and Chocolate City, and then you go into something super silly with like Sharknado. And then in 2018 you did Cam, which was that psychological horror about the cam girl lifestyle. So the
Wow.
range that you have to be able to shift in and out, do you ever find that difficult, or is that kind of the joy of being that kind of actor that I can be super silly and funny, and then I can be super dramatic and scary? And where do you see it? Has it just been a fun thing, or is this a choice to kind of stretch yourself that way?
It's it's definitely intentional for sure. It's difficult in the way of getting the outside world to see you as more than just Tanya from Everybody Hates Chris, right? So it's like when you start so young, people think that they know you, they feel that they have a full idea of your range and what you're capable of. So the difficulty is being able to sort of prove them wrong, and prove yourself right that you're able to do other things than just a sitcom. You're not just a sitcom actor. Um, and and on my side, of course, it's challenging, but that's why I do it. I'm not doing this to do the same thing over and over again. That's boring.
Mm.
I want to be able to do a psychological thriller and turn around and do a sitcom, and then go back and do an indie film, Burning Sands or whatever. I want to be able to switch it up because that's what makes it fun.
Sure.
Is being able, and also being on set with people who bring so many different tools that you don't necessarily have, and being able to learn from them. Like that's one of my favorite parts, is being able to meet with new actors and work with new actors and being like, oh, this is one of my favorite moments that I've taken away from Regina King, and da 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 da. And that's the joy of it all.
Mm. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And to your point, I will say I'm guilty of it as an audience member. When I see Tyler, who played your brother Chris, and everybody, I saw him on The Walking Dead, and I immediately goes like, "Oh, that's Chris," and it's you can't help
Yes.
it because you grew up with that character, that character, you've spent so much time with that character that it can be hard to let them go and see them as a different person. Um, it's a there's comments I love where like any Nicolas Cage movie you see, it's Nicolas Cage in a different situation. Like he's not a different character. It's just Nicolas Cage in a movie
Yeah.
and doing something. Um, so
But
so
that's also okay. That's also okay. Get your coin however you need to get your coin. And some of us are there's branches to it. There's levels to it. Some of us are TV actors, some of us are film actors, some of us are character actors. Some of us are,
Mm,
there's different levels to it. There are people who know how to completely transform and some of us just stay in our world and different versions of that.
right.
But I mean, it's all okay. It's just whatever makes you happy and what makes it brings you the joy in what you're doing.
Yeah. What gets you booked too, you know? You
Yeah,
know, if you
what's
book
up?
Johnny Depp, you know he's gonna go so far into that character that he's unrecognizable. But if you book, Nicolas
Exactly.
Cage, you know you're getting Cage.
You're gonna get
Um,
Nicolas Cage. Yeah.
a question from Matt in the chats. I'm curious about the support of the parents during a child star's career. What are the challenges and the rewards, considering the stigma that comes with child actresses? So, is there support for the parents?
Like the parents directly?
Right, right.
Oh, I think that's what they meant, right?
I mean, sure.
That's a great question. I don't think there is. There should be though, Matt.
Like,
Thank you
like a
for
support
that.
group.
I Yeah, there should be a support group. I think especially for people who are so far removed from Hollywood. Sorry, my mouth is so dry right now. But yeah, like my dad, we had no zero idea of what Hollywood is, what it was, anything. And I feel that that's a great idea to have some sort of support group for parents because you're hit with a lot of things,
Mm,
a lot of decisions that you need to make. Maybe you're not used to being financial uh, having the financial literacy, it's just like so many things that's so new, especially for us. We didn't have those skills, and so a support group would have been very, very nice and
yeah, yeah.
necessary.
The
Yes,
contracting, like, there's, how do you know what
yeah,
to sign and look for in contracts? So you know you're not getting screwed on something and ruining your
for
child's,
sure.
hard work and success. So that's a great. Hey, Matt,
Yes.
let's do it. We're gonna start a support group for actors, child actors and actresses. Oh my God, we're running out of time.
No way.
It I
I was 7 minutes late.
we'll go a couple more minutes if you're okay, if you're comfortable with that. We'll go a couple extra minutes. I do want to talk about Mythic Quest. So we're gonna jump ahead a little bit. 2020 first season of Mythic Quest. It is a comedy. Um, do you feel coming into that it is a return to like your TV comedy? It's not a family necessarily, but kind of a family. Did it feel like that, or did it feel something completely different and completely new?
Both. Both.
All right, fair.
I think, you know, for me, comedy is where I got my start. Everybody Hates Chris. Did that for 4 seasons, and then I never touched comedy again. That's what it felt like. And so I was like, I'm a drama actress, that's who I am. And then Mythic Quest came around, and I was like, oh shit, I don't how how to be funny. And so it felt like, oh, I'm getting back to my roots because I've done this before, but also very new and foreign in a sense. And again, one of my favorite moments of working on new projects is being able to work with people who are so good at what they do, and I get to go to work um, and collab with people who are comedic geniuses, and so I feel like I'm in a master class every day on set, and so it's nice, and that's how it felt on Everybody Hates Chris. So it feels familiar, but also because so much time has
Mhm.
been in between that it feels very new at the same time, especially because I'm a grown ass woman now, so
Yeah, I've
I'm
noticed.
receiving it on a different level. Yes, thank you, thank you.
I mean, it really is some top tier talent. I mean, Danny Pudi and just everybody on the show is so funny. Um, was it Charlie Day is one of the producers. I mean,
Yes.
there there's so much talent. I can't imagine what it's like trying to act with so many funny people. Like, is like, how do you just keep it together? Like, I don't. It's a skill.
We
How do you do
don't.
it?
We don't. It's really difficult, especially with David Hornsby. He's so funny. I don't know if you watched season two at all, but there was the the bottle episode when
Mm.
we're all in the uh, what is the bullpen, and David's doing his whole wolf bit, and we just couldn't make it through a take without breaking. Him jumping off the windowsill and rolling over the table was just so ridiculous. And we improv a lot on this show, so every time he was giving us something new. So we usually don't make it through a take, especially when David's in the scene, but we make it work. And that's again, like it's one of my favorite parts. Is like I want to go to work and have fun, and I get to laugh and bring myself to tears every time. That's so awesome.
Oh, that's great. And there's two seasons in the books. Back in October, it's announced you're renewed for a third and fourth season. What what are you most excited for? Coming up. I mean, what do you want to do with the character? See how it grows over the next two seasons.
Mm. Yeah, well, the way we ended season two, it could have gone either way, right? It could have been like, this is the show. The show's over. It's
Hmm.
done. Like, this is it. Or, who knows what we're going to do with season three. So, what I'm really excited about, because in season two, we were starting to explore and get to know Dana a little bit more, especially outside of her relationship with Rachel. And so, we got to see her ambition and her drive. And so, I'm just, I'm excited to see how she develops and how she builds the confidence to go after what she wants, um and again to keep exploring what her lane is in the world of Mythic Quest,
Right.
because I think Dana's she's pretty awesome, and I relate to Dana a lot.
Yeah. And for those that haven't seen it, I bad on me for not explaining. Mythic Quest is a great comedy TV series on Apple TV. It's basically about the team behind a video game, and the idea of putting out this expansion, and obviously very comedic. Her role is Dana. She's the QA, the tester, and it's really funny. It really is funny. I like it. It very much reminiscence for me of like Silicon Valley and that style of development and
Yes.
comedy and dramatic moments.
Yes.
And it's hard not to draw connections to like Community because you got Danny Pudi in there, and it's too
And
easy to.
Megan Gans.
Yeah,
Yeah, writer.
it's hard. It's hard to not draw those conclusions, but it's a great show. I'm curious, how has the pandemic impacted the show, whether it be writing, filming, or releasing, in your opinion?
Oh, geez. Well, we were gearing up to film season two in 2020, and we were a week into production, and they shut us down, and it was, the whole we're gonna shut down for 2 weeks, and then that turned into how long? I don't even know. And it turned into a long time. So then Rob and Megan and David Hornsby got really creative and wrote the quarantine episode that we shot all from the safety of our own homes. We were our own hair and makeup and directors and lighting and all the stuff that we were, doing, and we had our partners involved, and my partner was helping me set up lights and all the stuff, and so it affected it a lot, but it pushed production back, and we did get to film season two until almost, I think, like 8 months later or so. But um, we were able to create things that were a season of TV that we're very, very proud of, and episodes of TV that we're very, very proud of. And I think it's because it takes resilience, but also Rob and Megan, they're just such fearless leaders, and very, very motivated and to get it done. And they're like, if you guys are down, and we're like, hell yeah, we're down. We love the show. I'm a fan of the show, and the rest of the cast were such huge fans of the show. So we were willing to do whatever it took to get the show back on the air, on the air, you know,
Streaming, yeah, sure. In the
streaming
in the in
on the
the in
air,
the interwebs, in the clouds, all that stuff.
the
Um,
interwebs. Yeah,
I swear I'm gonna let you go now. La question: Marvel or DC? I'm just curious.
Marvel.
Oh, yes. Favorite
Are you
favorite character?
DC?
No, I'm Marvel. I'm Marvel all the way. Like, I am DC, man, but Marvel. You got Captain America shield up there, and the Thanos gauntlet back there, and a bunch of nerd stuff. Who's your favorite character? Just out of curiosity.
You know,
Hard
I
choice.
didn't have one. I didn't have one, but recently, maybe it's because it just came out. Spider-Man he's he's dope. I feel like I slept on him a little bit, and I was just like, Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Everyone loves Spider-Man, but he's great. Especially,
Okay.
I think you know what it is. I think I just really love Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man. He's so perfectly cast as Spider-Man that it just makes sense, you know.
It almost feels like if he got bit by a radioactive spider, he would be this selfless hero that would suit up and go fight crime. That just
Absolutely.
seems like what he would do.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I do want to let you go. We've kept you a few minutes extra. Where can people follow you? I know you've taken a little bit of a hiatus, but when you should return, where can people follow you?
Yes, I'll be back. I won't be gone for too long. The only social media site that I find myself really sticking to is Instagram. And what is have been gone for so long? What's my username? It's Imani Hakim.
There it is. There it is. I have it right under. It's right under your picture, so they can see it.
Oh, great.
Yeah, but is there any projects that you want to promote? Tell people to go check. Where can they check it? Anything you want? Is it the last minute is all yours. Whatever you want to say, whatever you want to do.
Yes. Okay. So we are gearing up to start production on season 3 of Mythic Quest. You can't check that out yet, but it will be coming eventually. I'm also co-produce a nice indie film called Dinner Party. It hasn't been released yet to the public, but we are getting that geared up. So please check that out. I also started it as well. Other than that, I am writing and auditioning and doing all the things behind the scenes, so I won't be quiet for too long.
Outstanding,
Yeah.
outstanding. Guys, this has been Imani Hakim. She has been phenomenal. Go check her out. Go support her. We will post anytime something comes out. You are a friend of the show forever. Whenever you want to come back, promote anything at all. You want to talk more nerdy stuff and pop culture stuff, we would love to have you come back and talk more.
For sure, we got to get deeper into the Marvel verse next time.
Part 1 is always, we get to know you. Part 2, we geek out and just have fun. I will let you say goodbye to the audience, and then I'll toss us to a break.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
All right, guys. We'll be back right after this.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio. The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, everybody. We are back. My voice is almost gone. Mr. Radar. Are you back
What's
with us,
up, sir? I am.
Say hi, Radar.
Hi, Radar.
Never gets old. Never gets old. It's the dumbest thing that I do just for me. Nobody cares, but I love it.
I think it's great.
That was our guest, Imani Hakim. And
dude, she's
how
amazing.
Amazing was she? Was my question.
Amazing. I love those stories, but I kind of despise them at the same time. We're because she's like, oh, we were homeless, and we hopped in a fucking van and went to Vegas. I went to LA, and like this. I wonder how often that actually works for people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You always hear about the people who run to LA to be an actress or be an actor or whatever, and she made it. Yeah. So that's super cool. But then you're like, how many people are still like homeless in their van?
I mean, that's the thing. That's
the crapshoot, man. And you know what? It takes huevos to do that, dude. 100%.
Yeah.
There's no way my fat ass is gonna pack one of my kids in a van and be like, well, I think you're all right. Let's see if you can be
You seem pretty funny.
If you can be an actor.
You seem pretty funny. Let's bank our entire livelihood and lives on you booking a thing in like the hardest industry to get into in the entire world.
Yep.
It's probably easier
at that age too.
Oh man, it's probably easier to be a doctor or astronaut than it is to be a successful actor or actress in Hollywood.
You know what? And I'll say that too. Okay, like I'm not saying that it's easy to be an actor. Okay, I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is, if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer and you have the intelligence for it, right?
The aptitude, sure.
The aptitude, whatever you want to call it. If you have that ability, you just keep going to school long enough, eventually they put doctor behind your name.
They give you a white lab coat.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? You go through the process. It isn't, I'm not saying there's no luck involved, because some of that is kind of lucky sometimes. But when it comes to casting and stuff, it's completely luck. I mean, you've got a certain amount of talent there, but when you go into those things, and everyone talks about it, there's 40 people who are trying for this part, and they might all fit the description, and you might just have that one certain little look, or that one certain mannerism, or that one certain thing, or whatever they're looking for in that particular moment, or that one person said, I like this person, you're it.
Yeah, like imagine, all right, here's the call sheet. We're looking for male, average height, between 18 and 35. It's like, how many hundreds of thousands of people would fit that category? You know? And then it's like, but what real, like you don't really know what exactly they're looking for. It's like, is it looking for the whatever? So yeah, it's difficult, but what an amazing story.
She was amazing.
What a great
She was amazing.
story.
It was a great story, and it was great of her to come on.
Yeah.
So I loved it.
And I'm really rooting. I really enjoyed Mythic Quest. It's a phenomenal show. Great cast. I highly recommend it. If you guys can check it out. It's a great show. It's a great show. The writing's really good. It has a lot of, like, for me, it has a lot of the feels of like the Community, the Silicon Valley, those kind of shows that, the ensemble cast with more yeah, you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying.
Yep, absolutely.
Scott, when are we going to talk about Boba Fett? We didn't have time today. I promise you next week we're talking.
You know what? Give me a chance to watch some of it. Okay, here's what I've been doing.
There's only 2 episodes out so far, so
yeah, and also too, dude, I've been so freaking busy. Last weekend we were in Gillette all weekend for a soccer tournament. This weekend we're gonna be in Rapid City all weekend for a soccer tournament. Like, this is indoor soccer time. We've been going. Kids got practice 3 nights a week, and then we're driving across the state. We're driving 4 or 5 hours this way. I don't really have much time to be putting into some. I don't have time to watch another show. I don't have it right now. I don't have it in me. We watched Yellowstone. We watched Yellowstone in the hotel the other night.
Oh, that's nice.
On a laptop, dude. I haven't watched a show on a laptop since I was in Iraq. It was so lame.
Throwback.
Sitting there.
Yeah,
dude.
Well, the hour that I'm talking to a guest, you could be knocking out an episode of Boba Fett.
Oh, yeah, okay. Ooh. Instead, I'm here helping monitor the Jazz and hang out their vests.
What? No, I assumed you just go and take a nap. I mean,
you know what? Honestly, I thought about taking a shower.
Just put it loud, like crank it up loud enough so you can just listen in. And just go take a shower.
That's when my camera would pop on.
Yeah, nobody wants to see that.
Ain't nobody. No, I don't even want to see that. Yes. That's when my belly got big enough. I ain't got to.
Jen, by the way, Jen loves the beeping, the fucking beeping, the fucking beeping. She loves it. She loves it.
I wish there was a way to. I wish we had like a 3-second delay, or whatever, where you had the time to do it all the time.
Yeah.
But you know what? It'd be a full-time job to try to keep up with.
Tell me about it.
No, right. but Boba Fett. I actually do want to watch it. We haven't talked about it at all.
Yep.
What else?
It's the first. It's only 2 episodes out. We just got back. This is the first opportunity we could have talked about it.
But I mean, but usually you and I talk about things offline
That's
too.
True. That is true. And
we haven't said a word about it.
Well,
with you having,
Yeah,
you've been, well, in all fairness, if you're sick, what else do you have to do?
That's
sleep or whatever, feel better, and watch shows.
Yeah. So I will say we're gonna wrap it up, but next week we'll talk about Boba Fett first of all.
Yep.
Second of all, for
Yes.
all of you that are remaining here, very exciting. Next week's guest, I'm so excited for.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. I love all of our guests. Anybody that's willing to sit on this show and talk to me, you're one of my favorite people.
Yep, that's why he likes me.
But that's why you're one of my favorite people.
Yay.
But
I get my own bubble.
But I don't think I've been this excited to talk to a guest since we had on Clark Gregg from the Avengers, Agent Coulson. I haven't been this excited for a guest since then. I can't think, and I mean, we've had incredible guests. Don't get me wrong. We've had incredible guests. But just from a personal level, somebody that I love their work. I've seen them in so many things. They're instantly recognizable. The voice, the look, incredible talent. I just know I'm hyping this up so much, and then he's going to end up having to cancel because he's a busy guy. But it is what it is. Next week, we've got Sam Witwer coming on the show. Now, if you don't know Sam Witwer off the top of your head, how dare you? But he's been in so many amazing things, so many Star Wars properties. He, you know, that one Star Wars game, Force Unleashed. Like that was based on him. One of my favorite shows was Being Human, where he played the vampire that was living with the werewolf, that was living with the ghost. Great show. He's been, oh my God, he was in Supergirl for a couple episodes. I mean, he's done voice stuff, he's done video game stuff, he's done TV stuff. He was in The Walking Dead, but it's so funny. The story, if you remember, this is the crazy thing. So, backstory. The pilot episode, right? Remember the first episode of The Walking Dead? Rick Grimes wakes up in the hospital, blah, 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 blah. He goes into Atlanta for the first time, walking the streets empty, and then all of a sudden he gets overrun and he has to hide in the tank. Yeah. Sam Witwer was the soldier in the tank. He was the zombie. Now, you think, why is such a prolific actor to do such a silly cameo kind of thing? I mean, A, he loves doing that kind of genre stuff, but B, there was supposed to be a whole like spin-off prequel about that soldier. Like it was going to be his story. So about like the fall of humanity, basically what ended up becoming Fear the Walking Dead later. It was supposed to be, but it just kind of fizzled out. It didn't happen, but it was supposed to be him. And then the very end of that series would be him climbing into the tank and dying. So that's why he's in one scene of The Walking Dead. But he was in Dexter. I mean, he's been in so many things. Dark Angel. He was in Who remembers Dark Angel?
Yes.
Oh my God. So he's been in so much really cool pop culture stuff, from Star Wars to vampires to all these different things. So super excited to talk to him next week. Tune in live as I edge the whole conversation, as I superhero edge, as I'm superhero edging the whole conversation, and it's gonna be a real fun time. So we have that coming up next week, and more incredible guests already lined up. I'll tease that in March or April, I've been talking to this guy. He's like the go-to guy, the stunt double for like Chris Hemsworth, for Chris Evans. When they do the big Marvel stuff, he's the guy that they always go to. He's like their personal body double. So he'll be coming on the show. He's currently filming The Extraction 2 in Prague. So that's why he can't join. He wanted to join, but he's going to be filming for the next couple months. So as soon as he's done filming in Prague, we're going to get him on the show and talk all about Marvel stunt doubling. So very excited. And with that,
that dude's awesome. He's built like a brick house.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
he is. He's a beast. So lots to come. Lots of exciting stuff. Very excited to see what comes. Some
more superhero edging.
Lots excited for a lot more superhero edging. That's going to be the new thing. That's going to be a new thing. All right, guys, with that, we've reached the end of another incredible, stupendous, amazing, wonderful episode. The first episode of 2022 Pop Culture Warrior coming at you. Don't forget, guys, February 1st, we're doing the roast of CQ. You think you got jokes? Step up to the mic. I want to get your jokes ready.
Of course I got jokes. Just look at me.
Yeah, get ready. I'm bringing in comedians. I'm bringing in staff. I'm bringing in audience members. Line up now. Take your shots. And we're going to have a blast on February 1st. But that being said, Mr. Radar.
Yes.
Would you tell the fine folks at home tuning in on their time to listen to us, would you tell them all the wondrous, magical things we do here at WTF Nation Radio?
Well, tonight, you've been listening to Pop Culture Warrior with CQ and Radar. Just kidding. I did that one wrong. God, I had it all planned out and everything. Oh, my fist with fat fingers. Anyway. God damn it. Oh, you piece. Anyway, so there I was, CQ and Radar. Tuesday night, you're here. It's been amazing. First night back, got to mess something up, right? We went to the end of the show.
It's good luck. It's good luck.
Yeah. So tomorrow, Wednesday, Don's day of no scheduled activities. We will have nothing going on. Well, I'll have things going on, but anyway, so there we go. Thursday, Swords time. Ice, Spanky, Swords. They're going to be talking sergeanting, all the things. Big Army, National Guard, Reserve, freaking the border mission, all the stuff, right? They got some stuff going on with all of it. It's going to be fun. Hang out. We're going to love it. Friday night freedom. Kaz, Pookie. Pookie was in here earlier hanging out. We're going to do all kinds of fun shit. They have a really cool show. Hang out with them. You're going to love it. Now, Friday night, I'm going to be in Rapid City at a soccer tournament. Saturday, soccer tournament. Sunday, soccer tournament. But we're not worried about me. The radio station, WTF Nation Radio, will be off air Saturday and Sunday. Days of no scheduled activities. We're not going to be here. Okay, we're taking the weekend off. Do every weekend. We have families. Hang out with our families. You hang out with yours. Enjoy them. They're good people. Now, Monday, we come back to the Monday edition with Ice. Could talk about all kinds of fun, cool things that are happening in the world. He's going to line you up on all of them, right? Ice is all about that stuff. He loves that show. He's going to do awesome at it. Now, Tuesday, the day after Monday, will be a week from today, which is Tuesday night's Pop Culture Warrior with CQ and R.
And Sam Whitwer.
Yep, and Sam.
So, once again, that's the edition. Pop Warrior. Time. And
you should have never showed me that button.
Friday freedom. So, that's stupid.
You should have never showed me that fucking button.
And just to let you guys know, just to let you guys know, on Thursday for Sergeant's Time, they've got Command Sergeant Major retired Tara Bryan joining the show to talk about her recently published book, Taking Back My Name, Rediscovering Myself After Divorce, where she opens up about how marriage, the military, and ministry can impact a relationship in ways one never thought possible. So, with that, I love all of you people, and thank you guys for making this show as fun as it is. Thank you for checking us out. First show of 2022. This is going to be one hell of a year. Let me tell you something.
Yep.
We have some stuff in store that will blow your mind. All right. You have no idea. You have no idea the stuff that's in the works. So thank you guys for being part of it. I promise you more hijinks, hilarity, and ridiculousness for many, many more. I want to say years? Let's say months. Let's say months, just in case.
Episodes. Many more episodes.
Many more episodes to come.
We'll say episodes. Because, I mean, hopefully it's years.
Yeah, we'll see.
Honestly, but you know what? And this is what I'm so happy about, dude. We took off right before Christmas. We picked up right here where we left off. It's amazing.
Yes, sir.
It's been a couple 3 weeks, and we've picked up right where we left off. We're right back to it, and I really do. I appreciate everyone hanging out tonight.
Yes.
You know, it's been a blast.
Big virtual hug to you all. Big virtual hug. Fist bump, everybody.
Yeah, fist bump.
Four finger, but fist bump.
4 finger fist bump. That sounds like something you pay extra for in Vegas.
4 finger fist bump. All right, guys. We'll see y'all next week. Shots. Say goodbye, Radar.
Bye, Radar.
Later.